Hi, I'm Eric Berry from the Starfleet Escape podcast, and you're listening to another great Four-Eyed Radio product. For more shows, check out foureyedradio.com.
It's your good pal Steve-O from the 4i Radio Network. I'm here to talk to you about a wonderful designer we all know, Revenge Lover. Illustrates and designs that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com. And just do yourself a favor and tell them Steve-O sent you. I know it really doesn't count for anything, but I mean, come on. Who are you gonna trust? You gonna trust somebody else? No, you're gonna trust me, Steve-O. Because, face it, I'm awesome.
Warning. The following is intended for mature audiences. It includes references to the use of illicit substances as well as crude humor. Listener discretion is advised. Notice me, Senpai. America. I'm Zach Nanimus.
I'm Johnny Dim.
And you've once again tuned into the Warpod, part of the Space City Nerd Network, the Four-Eyed Radio Network, Musings of a Geek, and the Houston Nerdcasting Collective. Tonight, we're going to be talking about PlayStation VR, Dead or Alive Extreme 3, Amazon Fire TV, Konami gives up its AAA games, and the top 3 arcade cabinet interfaces of all time!
But first...
Peaky Blinders.
We briefly were talking about Peaky Blinders before we started the cast.
I think it's still worth talking about.
Yeah. Okay, you wanted an explanation of what it was, because you've made fun of me.
Okay, my whole thing about Peaky Blinders is that Johnny...
It's a really dumb name.
It is a dumb name. Johnny's been defending this show to me for a long time. I haven't seen one episode. It just seems to me that if it's this big drama, you know... The name takes something away from it. It would be like if the Lord of the Rings was called like Lawnmowers 2.
Yeah, well, I think their whole attempt at the name is really just to be historically accurate, because I believe that they were a real gang and they called themselves the Peaky Blinders. It's just a very English thing to do. That name is very English.
Oh, so it's the name of the gang.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that now.
Yeah, and it's a really excellent show, fantastic show. And it seems fairly historically accurate the way they present everything, except there's some stylized things in it that really, but they're not bad. They lure you in even further. They use some modern music that they use a lot, and in certain scenes, it's really just kind of artistically kind of fun to look at.
Is this the update to A Knight's Tale that we were all hoping for?
No.
Do you think Heath Ledger would have been proud? Isn't the Scarecrow in it?
What's his name? He was in 28 Days Later.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. He's great. He's absolutely great in this show.
Do you think we could get a Gotham by Gaslight crossover?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, you remember that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know of it.
It's one of the Legends of Batman.
Right. Yeah, so I think you had told me about it before. And I just want to say this. Right now, currently, there's only 2 seasons on Netflix. And it's a great show all the way through. I really enjoy it because there's always a lot of little left turns you don't expect. But the best is the end of season 2. Watch all the way through. Even if you're not liking it 100%, if you're like 80%, just watch it all the way through. You'll love it.
Do you really need 44 episodes of content in order to get the appropriate context for that finale?
There's not that many episodes.
Okay, so 24?
I think there's a 12 in an episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a season, I mean.
Okay,
12 in a season.
Do you really need 24 hours of content in order to get the context?
Should you skip right to the last?
Well, I mean, aren't there like a couple, like, watch this episode here, watch this episode here, watch this one, and then
it helps.
You're ready.
It helps, but you could watch it, feasibly, you could watch it in the middle of season 2 and watch half of it and be okay.
People just Netflix and chill. It's fine. 24 hours of a show, they're just going to get right through it.
Yeah, and it's an excellent show.
That's not what Netflix and chill mean.
It's not what it means at all. But
I don't care.
But Tom Hardy's also in the second season, and I'm a big fan of his. He plays
Bane, right?
Yeah, he plays a Jewish gangster.
Okay.
And it's awesome.
Is Michael Caine in it?
No, he's not. But aside from all that, I had another but first.
Which butt first?
Well, actually, I had 3. I had that one.
All right.
And then I wanted to mention that I'm getting into a mobile game, and it's based off of the Walking Dead comic book. It's like an RPG. It's definitely that
Town builder, tower defense.
there's a little bit of town building or whatever, but there's also some RPG elements. You actually go out and fight zombies and stuff. And what I like about this particularly is that it is based on the comic book, and it's super recognizable if you've read the comics. It's got that same art style. It's not black and white like the comic is, but it looks really good. I just started playing it. It is the free to play model. I don't know how annoying that's going to be yet as far as that goes, because I don't plan on paying for anything.
It's going to be pretty annoying.
Yeah. Well, there's some games that do it pretty well.
Right, but this is such a big name right now. There's going to be a lot of incentive to make money off of it.
Yeah.
And
well, you can do that with just stylized things and just aesthetics. You can do that with I want to buy, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go yet. Well, I'll give a report back later on another episode. But my main, but first.
Well, hold on. What's the combat interface like?
It's turn-based.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that takes a little bit of suspense out of it.
I guess.
But then again, the random encounters all would also feel a little bit like, zombies coming out of nowhere.
There's not really random encounters either.
You always know where the zombies are?
You go on missions, and there's usually 5 parts to a mission, and you actually click the different parts. And you can actually get out of a mission anytime you want and go back to your town, go back to the town and manage stuff if you want. And you can go back to that mission and say, okay, I want to continue the mission, and I just hit the next part of the mission. And then you're there, and usually you're in the middle of the screen, and you're either surrounded or you're confronted. And the zombies, so far, they have to be in this close combat, melee stuff. Even though if you're using melee, you can jump across the screen and hit them. But they start like 3 turns away from you, and they don't get up to you. You can jump to them, hit them, and run away in one action.
That's because you're faster.
Yeah. And then as they get closer, they don't hit you until the 3rd turn.
I want there to be a system where you can actually attack other people's towns, and kind of where you get renegade points and stuff like that.
I think there's something like that in this game.
Yeah, and as your avatar changes, to reflect you being a worse guy, and so you get an eye patch.
Yeah.
What game is this?
Just more.
It's a Walking Dead RPG for mobile. Now, what makes me think that it's going to be something like that where you can attack other people is that they actually prompted me that, hey, you should join this group. It's got other players in it, and I think you can actually play different groups versus different groups.
That or you can pull your resources to do bigger missions.
Right. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten that far into it. Like I said, I'll have more to talk about that later.
Okay.
But first,
right,
I need to defend Xbox.
Why?
Because
why?
Because you guys, for lack of a better term, gangbanged it. When you were on...
You literally lack a better term.
Yes. That's all I have. My vocabulary...
It can't say any other words.
Okay, I prefer it. I prefer it. I like the shock value.
Oh, man. Sorry.
No, I don't. I don't prefer... No.
Movers really gangbang my furniture.
No, okay, you were on... what was it called? Talking shit or
something? Shooting. Insert expletive. Yes.
Yes. Shooting the shit. With our good friends over at
Lazy
Bit Collective, Jeremy and Matt and all them. And I listened to a little bit of it, and you guys are all like, "Man, what's wrong with Xbox? They all suck. Why don't they do the right thing?" And I got really annoyed. I wanted to defend Xbox.
Do so now.
Okay. I've got a bulleted thing here. I would
like you to know that I don't remember this conversation very well.
Oh, when you had it with them?
Yeah.
It wasn't for very long. It was just you all unanimously were like, yeah, Xbox sucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was. But you also grouped it with Nintendo, like both those guys. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with both of them? Okay, first off, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Why does Xbox suck to you?
Well, I would have to say that I used my PlayStation last night, and my Xbox is sitting literally in its packaging.
Right.
I just don't use it.
But why?
The games that I want to play aren't on it.
Which ones?
Well, right now I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Is that a PlayStation exclusive?
Nope.
Okay. So
you know what?
So that doesn't stand out.
I went to GameStop, and they said, okay, we have that for PlayStation or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And I was like, PlayStation, please.
Yeah.
Because I didn't...
360?
Yes.
They don't have it for Xbox One?
They didn't.
Oh, they just didn't have it there.
So the availability is also an issue.
Okay. In one instance.
Large barriers.
Now, what does the PlayStation have that the Xbox doesn't?
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Was the
I don't have to buy a subscription just to play multiplayer games.
Yeah, free network.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I don't want to play multiplayer games. I don't want to play with 12-year-olds who say they want to fuck my mom.
But you guys pay for the PlayStation Network
To get the free games.
To get the free games.
So you pay. So that really doesn't hold up either.
No, it does, because if we chose not to renew that subscription, we'd still be able to use the network.
But you do pay for it.
Correct.
Right. So you'd have it anyway.
Well, we thought about getting the Xbox subscription.
The
but,
gold.
Like, the games on there just suck.
Yeah.
They were, like, no good games. I'm like, I'm not paying.
I can argue that. Those they actually do have some good games.
No.
They do.
Like, few and far between.
Okay. So that's one. Which those are thinly veiled. And then okay. Well, I didn't actually write this on the list. I just remembered. But also, when comparing the networks, it actually does hold up. They're both networks. If you compare them both, the PlayStation Network goes down a lot more often.
I've never had an issue. Never once.
Still a thing.
Still, you asked me, and
Right.
It hasn't affected me.
You specifically, yes. But I'm comparing the two directly overall as a product. Not necessarily Zach's
Then why am I
experience.
here?
Because you're the one who talks crap about Xbox.
Right, and so if you're trying to get some empirical data, it's coming from my experiences.
Right.
I haven't played other people's PlayStations.
Right, but they still have the same one you do.
No, that one's mine.
They copy. They do the same things. Okay. Now Xbox One, when it did come out, did have a bad launch. Everybody knows that. There initially that people didn't like the console, and there was this heavy digital thing that people didn't like, but they changed it immediately. That's another example of how they respond real well to customer complaints.
Which, by the way, was also an interesting kind of switch because there were lots of complaints, and then they were like, "No, we built the system this way. We just can't do that." And then there was another huge wave of, "No, we don't like it." And they're like, "Oh, well, I guess we can change it after all," and we lied. So that.
Yeah, well, people called their bluff, which they also did when it comes backwards compatibility. Now, what happened shortly after the launch is that they actually completely have a new head of their Xbox department, completely. Phil Spencer took over, and he vowed to make the system all about the games. That was his main focus. And with that came, I think, a lot of customer focus and stuff like that. So they're super responsive. He's made great changes. The monthly updates have been. I want to read this quote back to the monthly updates thing because I think this is actually kind of important. If you go to the Xbox One system software Wikipedia, it tells you all about this stuff, and it says, along with introducing improvements and fixes for native console apps and software, the monthly updates to the Xbox One system software introduce major features that are voted on or requested by the community, though some months have included more than one update. So I wanted to read that direct quote. So I think that's important. That's awesome that people can actually go and just vote on what they want to be changed on the software. Another good thing I think that is great that they did is they came out with the Elite controllers, which I think is a great nod to the pro gaming people on Xbox.
Are you talking about the new 8-inch audio jack controllers?
No, that's different. I'm talking about the Elite controllers. They have
The one with the buttons on the back?
Yeah, the shoulder buttons, the different triggers. You can change the surface of your joysticks if you want them to be more sticky or rubbery. All that kind of good stuff.
Most of those things you just stick to the top anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you'd add that to you could add that to SNES if you wanted.
Okay. There's no comparison to adding a little rubber on top of a joystick to do these Elite controllers, which are well made, and you can actually change out parts and super customizable. And I think you can change the sensitivity.
Whatever that top thing is, no matter what it is, it's going to wear down. So it's better to just have something you flick off, put back on. You want something very very module.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then I also have what I already mentioned, the backwards compatibility, which is a huge blow to PlayStation in this war that they have. Also,
something that PlayStation will probably do relatively soon, since it's a very simple thing to do.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, it is. They're running they're running an instance of an Xbox 360.
I'm not arguing whether it's easy or not. I'm arguing is that I don't think they'll have it relatively soon. What do you call relatively soon?
I don't know, maybe next year.
I doubt it.
We'll see.
I very much doubt it. Also, exclusives just for this year for the Xbox. Halo 5, Fable Legends, Inside.
No
one's excited about but me, by the way.
Huh?
No one's excited about Fable Legends but me, by the way.
I like Fable. I'm mildly like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Well, is this the one that has like where you have like one guy who's playing with the big bad guy and running that I am interested. I do not like Fable traditionally, but this looks interesting.
Yeah, it's the game that Crawl beat them to the punch with.
Right.
Yeah.
Inside, which is kind of an indie title, I think. Crackdown 3, Recore, which is actually made by the people who did Mega Man and one of the Metroid games. So that looks really good. Cuphead, Quantum Break, which has been touted for way too long. But I think that's the end of my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
None of this makes me more excited about Xbox. None of what you said affects me as a gamer at all.
Okay. Which I've tried to make you make this. I've tried to drive home that saying Xbox sucks, I don't think is fair from your standpoint. Because it doesn't. It's just something you don't play. Like the difference between Xbox and PlayStation really is a narrow margin. It's not that different. You just happen to play your PlayStation more. Because a lot of the games you play on it, you can get on Xbox One.
Consistently.
Right.
Because I've had every Microsoft and PlayStation system. And any time that I've had the opportunity to play them back to back, which has been every generation for Microsoft, I've played the Sony product more. Every single time.
Right. It may be that controller feels more comfortable in your hands.
No,
I would
prefer that the PlayStation controller be more like the Xbox controller.
Okay, then I'll ask you again.
Okay.
Why is it better?
Because I play it more.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's an entertainment system. It's the one that entertains me the most.
But why?
Because it's got the network that I want and the games and has the games that I want readily available. Also, it gives me free games that I'll actually play.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yes, it has the games I want, gives me the games I didn't know I want, and will let me watch Netflix anytime I want. Yes, only those things.
Okay.
For the thing that literally comes through my TV, it couldn't be doing more through my TV to entertain me than it already is. It's not possible.
Right. But Xbox...
if the Xbox had robot hands and then could feed me, it might be marginally better. But it can't. It's doing the same thing PlayStation is doing, and PlayStation is doing it better.
Okay.
I gotta pee.
We'll have a spite pee.
No, okay. All right. We'll put a lid on this. Obviously, this bothers me a lot because I keep bringing it up.
I know
because it bothers me that you say it sucks. I don't mind that you say that you prefer it. I don't mind that you play the PlayStation more. It doesn't bother me. It's that you say Xbox sucks because of that, and it doesn't. You just don't play it.
When two sports teams
play
against one another, the World Series,
right?
That two teams play one another several times in a row, right?
Yeah, 7.
7 times in a row.
At most.
Okay. At what point? Okay, you can say that one team wins 2, the other team wins 1. Team A wins 2, Team B wins 1.
Right.
Okay? Team A, at this point, is better, correct? Let's say Team A wins 3. Now the ratio is 3 to 1.
Uh-huh.
Team A is still better, but is it fair to say Team B sucks now?
No.
Okay? Team A wins 4 to 1.
Right.
Can we say
No.
5?
No.
6?
No.
7?
No.
It won a bonus game.
But it also got to the World Series.
Huh?
It also got to the World Series.
But we are comparing the teams.
What do you mean?
We are comparing the teams. So it's never fair to say that Team B sucks.
Not if they're both in the World Series.
Okay.
You can say Nintendo sucks this generation. That makes sense. They didn't make it to the playoffs.
Oh no, they did.
No.
Yeah. Well, okay. The conceit has always been that that Nintendo's playing a different game.
Right. Yeah, they're playing soccer. We're playing baseball. I don't know. I really don't know. I just
I play my Nintendo more than I play my Xbox.
which is fine. You can do that. I just don't think that means that your Xbox sucks.
PlayStation 4, so much fun. Nintendo's the runner-up. It's another one. How many are in the can now?
I don't know.
PlayStation, so much fun. You'll lose your Xbox controller.
Uh-huh.
PlayStation, so much fun. You'll leave your Xbox in its box.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, so much fun. Nintendo's the real runner-up.
Yeah. Well, I say that by this next summer, 2016 summer, that I think Xbox One will overtake PlayStation.
Nintendo?
No, PlayStation. PlayStation in sales and units sold, console sales.
That's possible. It all depends.
Halo's going to be a big deal.
Halo's going to be a big deal, but PlayStation VR is going to make news. Do I think it's going to be do I think it's going to be a big deal? I don't know. I just don't know.
Is that what we're going to go into next? Is the PlayStation VR?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking about Xbox this entire time. The word on the street is that PlayStation VR, according to Andrew House, PlayStation or Sony Entertainment CEO. No, this is it's being branded as a new console, and I think Johnny, you hit the nail on the head when we were talking about this yesterday when you said that they're really preparing us for the price,
right?
By calling it a new platform,
right?
Essentially a separate console. It's not. It's a peripheral. It's just a $400 peripheral,
right?
And one thing that I think is going to. One thing that I think one thing that can tank this thing is that they're saying that this is a brand new way to develop games.
Right.
Nobody wants a new way to develop games.
Right.
They want something that they can add into games if necessary. Games that hinge on you having a $400 toy, I don't think are going to be successful.
Which might be useless if you get headaches from it.
Exactly.
But also, one thing that I saw that was noted in an article I was reading about this is that they were trying to compare it to the price that's going to be the Oculus. And I didn't see an actual price for the Oculus, but what they did do in the article was say to have a computer that can run the Oculus plus the Oculus, it will be about $1,500 combined price. I don't know exactly how much the Oculus is going to be by itself. Maybe that's like, I don't know, about the same.
I saw that same article, and they were talking about a high-end. They were talking about a higher-end gaming computer.
Right.
So maybe closer to a $1,000 rig,
yeah.
Which would actually, if that holds weight, or that holds water rather, then we're still talking about a $500 Oculus.
Right.
Which makes sense. But once again, I can't get over this idea that they're going to want people to design things specifically for the Oculus. I mean, you don't have to. I can't imagine a game based around the concept.
Do you think that they're designing Extreme 3, what is it? Dead or Alive Extreme 3 around the VR?
No.
Do you think it's just going to have some things that you can do in it? Like there's gonna be.
I think you'll be able to play the entire game in it. It's hard for me to think of a 3D game that wouldn't be applicable to VR.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because essentially what it is camera control with your neck.
Right.
That's all it really should be. That's all it really needs to be. You know? My hope is that, and for those of you who didn't know, DOA Extreme 3 is set to release next year.
In 2016.
Yeah. In Japan only, by the way.
Yeah,
in Asia only.
It's a little frustrating. I'm sure they'll port it over eventually.
They will.
Yeah.
My hope is that the VR that's going to be included in this is going to be kind of like an etiquette simulator, where like if you're trained in on the naughty bits of the ladies too often, they'll notice,
right.
And like you'll lose money or something,
right?
And so you have to keep eye contact.
Eyes up here, buddy. Oh boy.
And that does explain why I opened this show with "Notice Me, Sensei." Senpai.
Senpai.
But yeah, no. Okay. Can you think off the top of your head of a game or a style of game that could be built around being able to control elements with your neck, which is what VR is? Your neck becomes a new input device.
Maybe a first-person shooter.
But that's not built around it.
No. Not necessarily. Well, it depends. If you're doing a traditional first-person shooter, then you're always vertical. But if you have a VR on and you tilt your head, that changes the axis, right? You're moving your head to an angle that you can't usually do in a first-person shooter. So that type of first-person shooter would work. Or when you're in I've seen some demos early on with the Oculus where someone had done basically a first-person shooter where they can do that. They can move up and down, left and right. They can, stuff like that. And they had like a little gun that they were holding in their hand that was like in real life. That was also a peripheral as well.
Yeah, that was a separate entity altogether.
Right.
It was actually a mouse, essentially a modded mouse.
Right. But I could see that working out, doing something like that. Maybe make a game around that and add another peripheral that's just like a gun like that, like a light gun.
We could call it Leaners. Coming this fall to a PlayStation 4 because it's obviously better.
God damn it.
The Leaner. Master Chief ain't got nothing on the Leaner. He'll be able to go around a corner and show only his neck and most of his chest.
Whatever. I'm going to be playing a crap ton of Halo 5. And you can't do that because you only want to play your PlayStation.
What do you mean? We're going to stream it.
Yeah,
we're going to do all my favorite things.
Yeah. I hope you hate every second of it.
But no, okay, take Wii Boxing, for example. Wii Boxing is a game that is designed around it. Designed around the Wii Remote and the nunchuck.
Yeah.
It's designed around it. There are no game elements that don't have anything to do with it. So can you think of anything where your neck is the game board?
Nope.
Yeah. See? Like, I don't know how you build new games out of this. I really want to play Everspace. Everspace looks amazing. I'm very excited about that.
You keep talking about that like that's going to be a game that's going to be released. I don't think it is.
I think it is.
It was a demo.
Yeah, a demo.
And I remember them making it, and they saying, "Oh, this is not actually necessarily going to be a real game. We're just trying to demo this shit."
People have been really impressed with it, and if they don't capitalize on that, they're going to lose out. It's kind of like DOA only being in Asia.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Right.
It's going to get ported over here. As a matter of fact, considering how popular dating simulators are in Japan, I would have to say that DOA Extreme 3 in that market would be kind of a flash in the pan. It makes a little bit more sense over here, where the market's starved for non-violent and albeit sensuous pieces.
Right.
Well, not sensuous, sensual.
And sports.
Possibly sensuous.
Sports games do really well over here, too. There's a lot of volleyball in that game.
Actually, the focus is off. That's why it's no longer Extreme Volleyball. There was
only one Extreme Volleyball title.
Yeah.
There's Extreme and Extreme 2 where volleyball was an option, but it wasn't the focus of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, was it DOA Beach Volleyball and then DOA Extreme?
I think.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Extreme was in the volleyball title too.
How much fallout are you expecting from this game being localized?
Man, you said Fallout immediately, so I'm super excited about Fallout 4.
You're super excited about Fallout 4 Extreme Beach Volleyball?
Yes. I don't think there's actually going to be a lot of Fallout at all.
You don't think so?
No,
You
I really don't.
You don't think that people are...
Those games don't do very well.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But they are cult classics.
Yes.
They are.
I wanted to do a Let's Play of this one, and until we found out we couldn't get it here.
Yeah. But Warlocks, if you want to get on Twitter and talk about it, that's fine. Or actually, you can visit the website. You know what? We'll start our own thread on the website
Okay.
to talk about violence versus sex in gaming.
Yeah. What is your preference?
Well, it's like, which one is a more negative influence?
Right. Yeah. Which one kills more school kids?
In this instance, I'm going to say Extreme.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
by far, because they're horrid games. They're just the worst. Like everything about them. The jiggle physics, one for literally lack of a better word, are unconvincing and odd. The women look plasticky. The plot makes no sense, and the interface is stupid. The games don't control well.
No, they don't.
If they were going, if what they wanted to do was entice me with pretty visuals, I would have been fine with just a character who can run and jump around.
Yeah.
Making me frustrated with a game that doesn't work. It's stupid, distracting from the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, more distractions coming from Amazon with the Amazon Fire TV.
Gaming edition.
Okay, the thing is that Amazon has said in no uncertain terms they are not trying. This is not their foray into the console gaming world. This is a toy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a less expensive toy than consoles, and yes, once again I am contending that video games are toys.
That's fine. Whatever.
But yeah, this is just essentially it's an expensive Roku device.
Yeah.
Which actually they make more expensive Roku devices, don't they?
There's like a $300 Roku.
Yeah. So this is essentially a Roku, and if that's the case, this one's a lot of bang for your buck because it's the $100 model, similar to Apple TV.
Yep.
And you'll be able to play some games, and they're doing some exclusives. And honestly, between them, I'm.
You think Amazon's better than Apple?
I'm leaning towards Amazon just because Apple's pompous.
Yes, they are. That's one of the reasons I've always hated Apple.
It was something about it. Like I was like, as soon as I saw Apple TV. Well, okay. The thing is like, Apple was touting that these are going to be great games, and you got the motion controller, or you can just use the remote. Your applications from your phone. Oh, look at everything we do. And Amazon was like, yeah, it just runs your applications and will do Netflix.
Right.
It's not as special as Apple thinks it is. Would you like ours instead? And immediately I was like, yes.
Please.
And the thing is, I know between these two ideas, if there are disparities?
Disparities?
That doesn't sound right.
Disparities?
Let's say discrepancies.
Discrepancies.
If there are differences between these two ideas at the beginning, what, Captain J?
Just giving us the eye because we can't say words.
If there are differences between these two ideas at launch, they'll be ironed out extremely quickly. Software is the bread and butter of these things. If one... for example, I know that Amazon doesn't give you access to. It doesn't have an HBO application. If Apple gets HBO, then
they do.
Huh? Right. Then Amazon will get Stars or something like that. They'll find ways to balance.
Yes, and part of that is actually just through HBO. HBO made their I don't know if you want to call it beta version of what was HBO Now or Go or whatever they call it now.
I've never seen an HBO program, so I don't care.
You've never seen an HBO program?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I'm trying to metabolize that.
There's a lot of good stuff on HBO.
I could be wrong.
Game of Thrones is HBO.
Never seen it.
What else is HBO? Well, Real Sports. There's a bunch of sporting programs, but there's...
We were watching football earlier, and I think I took a 40-minute nap.
Yes, you did.
So...
No, okay, so my whole point was HBO made their first year or so with their new standalone HBO app exclusively with Apple available, but they've always said that they're going to make it available to more platforms. So there's that.
Okay. But like I said, these two things, because essentially they run on applications, are going to be able to fix themselves very easily. Mm-hmm. And yet, in my mind, just from a branding standpoint, I just like Amazon better. Yeah, me too. I don't know. Jay, mm-hmm. How do you feel about Apple? Can you put your iPad down for a second and tell us how you feel about Apple, please?
I mean, their products are okay. They're stupidly expensive. I'm not going to get the Apple TV unless it's given to me.
Right. You have an Xbox and a PlayStation 4. They do mostly the same things. Yeah. Just better.
Now, I may get like a PlayStation TV so I can go play the PlayStation games in the other room.
Yeah.
Actually, they're about the same price.
I'd rather get the PlayStation TV then.
Okay, so between...
I thought they had canceled that.
No, it went to market, I believe.
PlayStation TV?
I think so.
I could have sworn they canceled
They may be difficult to find because I know they were very popular.
Right, which is why I think why they canceled them.
But I bet you can still order them.
Maybe.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I've never heard of anybody with a PlayStation TV, but most people...
the execution really wasn't very good with those either.
What do you mean?
Market-wise, they didn't execute them into the public marketplace very well.
I don't think that there was a good market for them.
Right.
I think that most people, cloister themselves off and they have
their... for $40 at GameStop.
Oh, man. Okay.
It's still available.
Wow. So definitely between Amazon and Apple.
This is it's 1 gig. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I do know that PlayStation Now is a thing that I think you can get on there. I think they canceled that. Maybe that's what. No, that's still going. That's where you can actually rebuy past PlayStation games you've owned.
Ooh.
And so it's backwards compatible that way.
Yeah. Oh, so they already have the ducks in the row for backwards compatibility?
They put their eggs all in that basket. They want you to rebuy games. Mm-hmm. And it's not all PlayStation games. It's a very select number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So essentially, all they'll have to do is just make it free, and they'll have Xbox's new service with backwards compatibility.
That will never happen.
Yeah. We'll see.
It won't happen.
We'll see. We'll see if people actually turn tail because of backwards compatibility on Xbox.
All right. Well, if
that happens, they will.
This episode is not Xbox versus PlayStation. What else are we talking about?
You made it that
at the beginning.
You were so excited to bring out. Where's your list? You had this list.
Yeah, I do have a list.
Swipe the screen. This is at least 500 words.
Yes.
This is tremendous narrative.
Well, at the bottom, that's my top 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
But speaking of races, some people are thinking that Konami might be leaving a race.
Yeah, they're forfeiting.
They're trying to.
Yeah. They have no AAA titles for consoles in the works.
Right.
There's one that they're wrapping up with, but that's it.
That's Metal Gear Online 3.
There's also one other sports soccer game I think they're finishing up.
Who cares?
I'm just from a technical standpoint, they're wrapping that one up and they're gonna be done.
Yeah. This is coming at a really interesting time for me because not personally, but I think it's interesting to note that we're thinking that Konami's not picking up any AAA things pretty soon after getting rid of Kojima.
Yeah, well, this has all been in the works for a while.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't. No, the first signs of this was when they stopped with stopped working with Del Toro, and they completely canceled Silent Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Kojima thing. Yeah, everyone knew this was coming. They have other businesses that they make a lot more money in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Other than video games in general?
Yeah, they have fitness centers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Japan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different. They still have the arcade titles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're still making cabinets or whatever, but there are a lot of other businesses that they have.
Well, I think the interesting thing was, for this at least, was there was actually a switch in the management. They got a new CEO. It was actually the previous CEO's son, and there was a little bit of anxiety about Kojima being such a big personality for Konami. He was like the face of Konami for years, and so there was. It was almost like they were pushing him out so that they could restore some of their brand to them. And now that he's gone, no more video games.
and that's the thing. It's weird to think because from an American standpoint, a very Western standpoint on this whole situation, we're like, well, what are you guys going to do? But they really have a lot of other businesses that do make a lot more money.
Mm-hmm, and that
a casino. That's what they do. A lot of casino games. Like actual I don't remember the exact game. It's a Japanese type of basically their version of slots and stuff like
Pachinko?
that. Yeah, stuff like that. They make a lot of those kind of.
Pachinko almost sounds racist. I want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing.
No, I think that is right.
Hey, Pachinko, get out of our neighborhood, huh? You dirty Pachinko, always selling your stuffed animals back to me. You know that's how it works, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So in Japan, you can't gamble.
Oh.
But for winning the grand prize for what will be called for the meantime a pachinko. Jake, can you look up pachinko machine?
Oh God!
Make sure that's a thing.
Yeah.
We're not racist. We're just ignorant.
In their slot machines, you can't win money.
Yeah.
But you can. But it feeds a ticket, and you go and you turn that ticket in, and you get a toy, and that toy.
Then you sell it back.
It has a resale value of like 10,000 yen.
Why don't we do that here?
Because our laws are
A little more ironclad.
Yes, specifically to get around that stuff.
Yeah.
Pachinko, Japanese form of pinball.
Yeah.
That's not entirely accurate, but okay.
Pinball? Oh.
Because you drop.
It's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Why did we bring up pachinko?
We were talking about Konami and the different things they make.
It's probably because you dirty pachinkos sitting on my couch, breathing on my air, taking our women. Yeah, you filthy pachinko, get out of here! Now I can't stop.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I guess that is a very American stance to think that. Which, the thing is, I wonder if Japanese gaming, like our portal to Japanese gaming, is now going to become Kojima influenced and related. He'll probably like go the way of NetherRealms.
He can just start his own damn business, his own company.
Yeah, especially
he's got enough repertoire, I guess is the right word.
Not only that, but I'm sure he has enough. I'm sure he has enough political clout, especially if Konami is getting. Well, they did get rid of Kojima Studios,
right?
And the idea was to sort of just absorb everyone who was working within Kojima Studios.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're going to get rid of AAA titles, if they have two options: pay those people to do nothing, or lay them off.
Right.
So Kojima could pick up right back.
Yeah, he could just definitely snipe him, or whatever the proper word was.
That means
I always thought that was weird that snipe is a thing. Like I know eBay, like if you sniping is basically way over bidding, and there's like 5 seconds left in a auction. I always wonder why that was sniping.
It's also sometimes called
shooting
scalping or headhunting.
Yeah, now that makes more sense in this particular context.
Mm-hmm.
But either way.
Yeah, the thing is, if he gets his own studio, you can expect a action espionage game in the future it's going to make you question your relationship with your mother.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to come out with the craziest stuff he was never allowed to do because he's he's consistently had problems with every release he's done with Konami.
Yeah, there's always pushback from them.
Yeah, because because he's insane.
Yeah.
Makes great games, but
Yeah.
he's insane.
Yes.
You need to play at least the first 20 minutes of 5.
Yeah.
Because it's I am not exaggerating when I say the Fantastic Four are in that game. They are.
Awesome.
So, well, I know what you think. Konami's going to be fine. They're just leaving America.
Yep. Well, not just America. They're leaving video games behind.
It's like, you know that feeling when you lose your mail order bride? It's like that. They're going back to Japan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was an oddly racist.
Oh, yeah.
Yo! Onegashimasu. Sorry.
Robot Project A.
Now.
That was very... Okay.
What? Nothing.
I was quoting something that nobody knows. I mentioned it once on another podcast.
Super Mario Kart. Sorry.
I'm a good one.
The duration of the podcast will be us saying vaguely racist video game titles. Strap in. And strap on. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, by the way, before we get too far away from consoles and stuff.
I wasn't even going to venture. I was actually going to talk about the Xbox.
Oh, I'll let you do that then.
Okay.
Oh, anytime you're going to talk about the Xbox without me bringing it up, that's probably a good idea.
Oh, no. My cough drop.
What?
It's got a creamy, syrupy center.
No, I was just going to briefly bring up that we attended a couple things yesterday.
Yes, we did. It was a very busy day for us.
Yeah, so we went to Comicpalooza Fanfare, which was technically a con.
I really enjoyed myself. In fact, one of my favorite things that we got to do was we actually got to sit down with Gray Griffin for an interview.
Yeah, Gray, not Greg.
Yes, Gray, as in the color.
Right.
Gray Griffin.
Right, and she was fantastic.
And for those of you who don't know, she's a prolific voice actress, Catwoman in the Arkham series, Princess Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And actually, I'd like to share that interview with you guys now.
Yeah, I was going to say, while we're at it, let's let them hear the interview.
Earth, fire, air, and water, America. I'm Zach Nanimus.
I'm Johnny Dim.
And this is Gray Delisle, the voice of Azula from The Last Airbender.
And we're down here. What's this con? It's Fanfare.
Comicpalooza Fanfare.
Comicpalooza Fanfare. And we are talking to Gray Delisle.
Delisle. But it actually is neither because it's Griffin now, but they printed the wrong thing on my banner.
Okay.
Griffin's so much easier.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I blanked.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, we're just here. Trying to, I want to talk to you because I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, particularly the original series.
Well, thank you very much, peasant. Thank you for that. The true queen.
So how are you enjoying the con so far?
It's been great, except for him, but other than that...
Well, what's wrong with him?
He's my handler. We were just arguing.
Handler. That sounds more lascivious than...
He's awesome. Catwoman thinks he's been handling me too roughly.
The funny thing is it wasn't until I saw that picture that I put the two voices together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a credit to you because they are different, but yet I can still hear a lot of you.
Azula's got a little bit of a feline quality that she'll cut you at the drop of a hat. But, I think actually Catwoman's a lot nicer. She helps Bruce Wayne a lot more than Azula would ever help anybody.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that you took a bit of the cat out to be the Catwoman.
I know. It's funny.
You know what it's always reminded me of? The Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah.
Maud Lebowski. She's got it's like a nondescript sort of sketchy talk.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, I love old movies, so I kind of like, a lot of my characters, I kind of put a little bit of that, kind of that thing that, you talk back in the 40s,
Yeah. That's
standard American or something.
That's how I do my Janeway impression.
Yeah.
Specifically to piss off Captain J.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Which is a girlfriend,
so out of all the voices that you've done, which one would you say is your favorite?
Well, I like doing Vicky on the Fairly Odd Parents. Go to bed, squirm. I've just been doing it forever, and it just lets off a lot of steam. If you're feeling pent up, you just do that laugh, and it just.
if you haven't already, I need all of you, America, to go get a picture of Miss Griffin online, because there's a huge disconnect between that voice and your face. It was very odd.
But when I do voices, sometimes I make a really ugly face. It depends if I'm making an ugly voice. Not ugly, just elderly.
No, you're not capable of making ugly face.
Or when you do kind of like teenage boys and stuff, you kind of make kind of a weird face. It's not like the prettiest face you could ever make, but whatever.
Actually, that's another interesting thing, because have we ever interviewed? I think you may be the first female voice actress that we've ever talked to.
That's true.
How often are you approached to do male voices? Because I know that.
Well, just kids. Like, yeah,
right.
I probably do about 30% male, and then, like 70% female voices.
Does that have something to do with the producers wanting an adult to fill that role
Well, it's good because kids get older and then they don't sound the same. And it's happened on 2 shows I'm doing right now. I'm doing Miles from Tomorrowland for Disney, and I'm doing a new show for Nickelodeon called, I almost said Nickelodeon. That's a totally different network.
Totally different.
No, it's called The Loud House, and we're not even on the air yet. We've had to replace our lead little boy twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which because we've interviewed Jeremy Shada, who does.
Yeah.
He's immune to that somehow.
I know. It's crazy.
Golden.
That's amazing. He's just a good voice actor.
Oh, he's very good.
Some of these kids are like, they're just kids.
Right.
So they're not really voice actors. I feel like Jeremy is a voice actor, so he's able to mold himself more than the average kid.
Which reminds me a little bit of a trivia. You know, when they did the Charlie Brown stuff way back in the day, the guy who made that just grabbed a couple kids. They were like on his block or whatever.
You cannot replicate that
you can't
too.
replicate
It's just,
yeah.
It's just so unique and sweet, and you just can't, no matter how, because you're still a 40-year-old woman. You're trying to be like a little kid, and it's just not going to happen.
Right.
But I can see it is a pain in the butt to recast. It's a pain. So I can see how they could they'll sacrifice a little of that innocence for somebody who sounds like a little kid, relatively. Yeah.
So out of these characters, another weird question: who would you say is the most like you?
I would say Frankie, because I still live with my grandmother. I don't live with her, she lives with me. But I lived with her when I was growing up, and then I went off to college and got married and had kids and everything, and now she lives with us. So, I just still like a crazy girl who lives with her grandma.
How many cats between you? Be honest.
There's 2 dogs, but no cats.
Okay.
But Grandma wanted to get a cat, and my husband would like to. Yeah. It's Catwoman, that's all we have.
Oh, good. Hey, well, thank you so much for talking to us. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you too.
And we'll see you next time. Time to say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Go to bed, twerp.
Thanks, Gray.
That was magical.
But yeah, that was talking to Gray was one of the first things that we did at the con.
One of the only things we did.
That's true. It was a smaller convention.
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk crap about it, but I really, if it's going to last, it needs to be a little bit bigger. It needs to grow. Next year needs to be bigger and better. And there were some ideas thrown around that I thought were pretty cool that hopefully they get that do happen. They're just rumors, so I'm not going to talk about what they were, but hopefully that the con next year is better.
Well, start the rumor with the understanding that it's a rumor, and people talk about it, then maybe it'll happen. You're talking about a Halloween-style con.
Yeah, and I don't know what they were thinking. The words I heard were villain and evil, like maybe a villain-centric con, which would be really cool. And doing that in October is a good idea, I thought. You can definitely kind of piggyback off of the Halloween stuff, and I think that would be awesome.
I think the coolest thing about that is you'd have another incentive to go around to vendors, because those of you who hit the con circuit a lot, you know that a lot of the same people are there.
Right.
Sometimes there's a lot of stuff that you're seeing over and over and over again. So having a trick or treat style kind of like mini game, there may be like a golden ticket style thing going on. There'd be a lot of fun ways to interact with one another.
Right.
And you could trade golden. Some of that could be a trading card game.
Yeah.
And it's Go Fish. You get three ciphers from X-Men. Get 3 ciphers from X-Men, and you win.
There you go.
Yeah, you win a week-long pass to Rosetta Stone.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I always wanted to learn German.
I heard that Rosetta Stone's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
By who? Who told you that?
Actually, it was on an episode of Game Grumps.
Weird.
Yeah.
What language?
Japanese.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, because they go to Japan a lot.
No,
Whoever holds this udder, if he be worthy, shall have the power of.
God.
Okay, but you're
bring the Moo Hammer back.
Moo Hammer, yes, Moo Hammer. Okay, but you're going to briefly talk about some JRPGs that are coming to the Xbox, exclusively to the Xbox One.
Yeah, no idea why these are coming out.
Good, positive news, and you just got shit all over it. We don't know that much about these. You saw some images, and you're like, these look the same.
I didn't see images, I saw gameplay.
Yeah, that too. I'm surprised you saw gameplay, because I thought these weren't going to come out for a little while, but I might be wrong.
There are older versions of these games.
One of them, I thought, was a remake.
But and the other one already came up for PC.
Right,
but,
that's right. Yeah.
There's Students of the Second Round and Stranger in Sword City.
Now here is the positive news I take out of this.
Okay.
They're setting a precedent, and if they can show that these JRPGs can do at least decently well, then maybe they can convince bigger companies to make exclusive content for Xbox. 'Cause I think that's the name of the game from here on out, because the PlayStation and the Xbox are so close as far as hardware goes, and a lot of the software as well. It's going to be about exclusive titles. That's always what ends up selling the consoles.
You know, the last time I heard about exclusive content that I had any vested interest in, it was around the time that I just done my Tomb Raider video.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I remember like Tomb Raider, like Rise of the Survivor or something like that, is going to be Xbox exclusive for like the first 6 months.
Oh yeah, the
like
timed exclusive.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, that turned me off.
Yeah.
The idea of exclusivity turns me off.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to win battles.
You know, unless they're like-minded people who will go with the more accepting console.
Oh. No. What? Well, the way you said that, I was like, how you expect Xbox or PlayStation to concede to one or the other?
No, like-minded individuals in the gaming community.
Right, people who choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a little late in the game for that.
Yes.
For it to be focusing on the selling.
Yeah, the line in the sand has been drawn.
As a matter of fact, I'd be very interested to know what Xbox would be offering in order to get these exclusive deals.
Money.
It'd have to be a lot to cut your market in half.
Yep.
You know,
a lot of money.
That's how they're picking up indie people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because hey, we'll drop $5,000 on you right now.
Right.
You know. That's a little disparaging, but good on them for making money so that they can grow their studio.
Absolutely. And with the now switching gears, the other thing we did yesterday was we went to the replay event.
Instant replay here.
That's not exactly how it goes. It was just replay. It was called Replay, like an audio video experience or something like that. Was the whole title. And it was very much both an audio and visual experience.
Well, yeah, because we had a lot of great artists there. We had guys from the Lazy Bit Collective, 10 Pixels Tall, the Falcon Lover.
Yes. Yes, he was there.
Like to call
Mega Ran. Did you already say Adam Warrock?
No, Adam Warrock.
Yeah.
And I think eventually did Matt Rivas, the Broken Satellite, get to spin?
I think so.
Or Pound? Well, we'll say Mash.
Mash.
For them, it's mashing.
Yeah, mashing.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because they had different arcade cabinets set up. A lot of them. A lot of classic ones. A lot of good ones. For example, The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
They had.
I beat Simpsons last night.
Yeah, we beat the X-Men cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. And they were all on free play, of course. And then there was also I played a bit of Miss Pac-Man, which I was really enjoying. As I love Pac-Man. There's a bunch of other ones.
They had a lot of consoles outside, too. They had a Neo Geo multi-cabinet outside, but then they had a bunch of consoles outside. They had the Genesis, NES, and I want to say that they had a TurboGrafx FX? No.
They had some old stuff. I don't remember all of the different
You know
ones.
what? It must have been a PlayStation 2.
Maybe.
Because we were playing Darkstalkers 2 on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna do a little article on it, just highlighting the different things. I took some pictures.
Mm-hmm, that was down at the Hive.
The Hive, yes, in Houston, off of Shepherd, on Net Street. It was a really cool environment. There was a lot of cool stuff. For me, the highlight, I love watching Adam Warrock. I've actually never seen him perform before. That was really cool. But yeah, this is one of these events that I'm glad to see a lot of people went to. We need to keep supporting these type of events so they will do them again. And so we're going to give them a lot of support. And those guys over at the Lazy Bit Collective are really cool. They're friends of ours, and so I recommend you guys going and following them, listening
through the mall,
listening to the podcast that they do. They started a new one, the first episode of a one with you.
Yes.
What was the first one called?
It was called Shoot the Excrement.
Shoot the Shit was with you, but they do another one that has that same expletive in it.
Not that I'm aware of. They have Shots Fired.
Shots Fired. That's what. Okay. Yeah. The SH got me confused.
That's actually a really cool. That's actually a really cool thing. That's a Game of the Month club.
Right.
We actually.
So you're in both.
I was in both.
Okay.
And actually, if you check out the Anonymous Facebook page, you can actually find a link.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put the links below on that one.
And I don't know when they're going to come out. Actually, I think they're released 2 weeks in between.
Okay.
And we actually all played Odalus: The Dark Call.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like if Batman didn't have Batman for the NES didn't have triangle jumps and more RPG elements. It's a very odd game. It's done in the 16-bit style, which you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Golden Axe if it were more like Mega Man.
Interesting.
I'm mashing it. It's kind of like Looney Tunes if it was more like if it was more like a greenhouse.
Right. We do have a top 3 this evening as well.
We do have a top 3 this evening as well.
And we're inspired by our event that we went to, the replay event. And the top 3 was I explained this very clearly when I proposed it. Top 3 arcade cabinet interfaces.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
Interface. Yeah, I guess interfaces is the right word, the operative word. Would you like to go first?
Sure. So essentially what we're talking about isn't necessarily the games themselves, but the hardware that allows you to interact with the game.
Right.
Maybe you have a fighting game that has a particular joystick that you like, or the button setup is just the way you want it. So I'm going to share mine as soon as I find my notes.
Yeah, or you could also do like a particular pizza grease is like the best pizza grease because that's how it works best with that joystick. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Durability, like what is your finger going to slip off? Because I know like stuff like Mortal Kombat 4, if you're eating pizza, that's a fine game.
Right.
If you're playing
Pac-Man's rough with greasy.
No, you can do it with your palm.
I hate it.
Okay, well that's
because I grip it so hard, I jerk it so hard.
Oh God,
that's Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yeah, no, that's what I played yesterday. That's true though. I do when I play Pac-Man. There's really a rough jerking of the joystick.
Thank you.
Yep.
So top 3. All right, top 3 arcade interfaces. Starting with the bottom.
Yay!
You'll be surprised to hear this. Street Fighter.
Ooh.
And really, this is a criticism for really arcade-style fighting games in general. There's something about the 6-button one on top of the other.
Yeah.
That I've never been a big arcade guy. I'm a console guy.
Yeah.
And there's something about having those 3 buttons and doing it with my fingers instead of all with my thumb that makes me lose track of everything. Like it's hard for me to imagine
that layout. Yeah,
being good enough with it to just know where the exact button that you want is. Jab versus fierce punch versus medium punch, etc. And or in Street Fighter 4, heaven forbid. In Street Fighter 4, hitting all 3 of the right ones at the right time in order to do your ultra move. But yeah, I digress. It's something that I've never been good at. Is that something you like, or?
No, I'm not big on the arcade cabinets in that format. The joystick and buttons is never something I've gotten really good at, especially with fighters. Mm-hmm. I find it really hard to do that. That's why I prefer like just the like the ones that are like X-Men, or there's a Predator game that like that. There's all the side scrolling and just you have a punch, a kick, and maybe a special move or whatever. Those I love playing on an arcade cabinet. I'm no good playing fighters that way.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Especially the more buttons there are, the more confusing I am. The more confused I am when playing.
The more confusing you are?
Yeah.
Johnny, how many buttons are there? Cows!
Taco meat!
Those are the same thing, Johnny.
Yeah, they are.
Number 2, Star Wars Pod Racer.
Yeah.
Full marks for creativity on this game. It felt like an alien ship. It was something that we were never used to. The game was also beautiful. The game also worked well. But for those of you who didn't get a chance to play it in the early 2000s, it was how it works is you're holding on to 2. If you've ever driven a boat, I don't know what they call the modular
throttle.
That's the throttle. Okay, so essentially you have 2 throttles.
Yeah.
One on the left and one on the right. If you backward, take some off of your right pod.
Right.
Backward takes on the left or the right. Backward takes some off of this off of that same pod.
The corresponding pod.
Yeah. So if you want to hang a right, you need to draw back on the right and
push,
throttle up the left.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm sure if I had given Star Wars more of my money via this cabinet, then
you would have gotten used to it.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
I remember it being difficult as well.
Yeah, it wasn't intuitive enough to hold my interest through even $2.
Right.
You know. But then that's another weakness in my arcade
experience.
Yeah, because I don't like throwing money at something. I really dislike microtransactions.
Arcades are really good at that.
And number 1, there's a new Batman racing game.
Oh boy!
Yeah, have you played this game?
Yes, I have.
Did you notice the problem with it?
I don't know if we had the same problem with it.
What problem do you have?
I didn't understand because there's a section of the game when you go into the what do they call it, the bat, the one that's like a helicopter.
Yes, that's the bat.
I didn't understand how to aim that thing.
You don't. Everything's auto aim.
I fucking hate that.
Okay.
I like aiming my stuff.
No, the thing. Okay, once again, if you didn't get a chance to play this yet, the new Batman racing game.
It's fantastic looking.
Yes, it's an anti-racing game, is what it is.
Pretty much.
Because everything's on auto.
Yeah.
So you just need to go forward, and you need to be behind enemies in order to shoot them.
Right.
So the incentive is to be near the enemies, but also behind them.
Right.
It's very odd. Yeah. As a concept, I don't mind it. And as a game, I don't mind it. I only have one criticism. And whether you know it or not, pedals on a car are ingenious because the gas is very, very low and a different shape. And the brake is very, very high and also a different shape. Okay? So you can tell by barely tapping which one you're on.
Right.
Batman, they're both at the same level and they're the same shape.
Right.
You have no idea what you're hitting.
A lot of racing games are that way.
Yeah, but this is the only one that I really noticed. I guess it's because you use the brake so much in this game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And if it had just been a tiny... They didn't even need to change parts. If it had been a tiny bit lower, I would have understood exactly where everything was because it would have been more like a car. But it's not.
A strange complaint. I find it strange that it made your bottom list based off of that.
Well, the other ones just weren't that bad.
Okay.
The other, like...
I could think of a lot of bad ones.
Street Fighter is there by necessity. I don't have the fix for it.
Right.
Pod Racer was at least interesting.
I will say this about...
This one, it was not only there, but very simple to fix.
I do want to play more of that Batman game because it looks so fantastic. Mm-hmm. There was a lot going on in that screen. And it was very distracting. I didn't know what was going on.
Don't pay attention to the screen. You got too much to worry about. Pedals.
Okay, so my bottom. Would you like to talk about my bottom?
I would.
Okay.
It's hairy and Amish.
Yep. I got an honorable mention, and that is balls. I don't like arcades that utilize the rolling ball, like that Golden Tee.
Oh, the golf games?
I hate all games that use that rolling ball. I hate it. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel natural. I think they have bowling games that use it too, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I avoid it.
It's my personal preference. I'm sorry if you enjoy those games. But my actual list.
It does that is a trainer for other parts of life when you're having to cascade your hand over a spherical thing with a bit of a gentle touch and some accuracy.
Yes, you're right.
Of course, I'm talking about pottery.
If you're thinking anything else, what were you thinking about?
Yeah, your mind was in the gutter. You should stop listening right now. And Princess Azula would be ashamed.
She would. Motorcycle games. That's my number 3.
All motorcycle games?
I do not like motorcycle games.
The kind where you literally
They're
have to
so
lean?
dumb. Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't. That also does not feel natural, and it feels really ridiculous. And I've never been good at them, which is probably why I hate them so much.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Sega came out with them.
Sega has a bunch. There's a Harley Davidson version. I don't know who made that. It was probably a Sega thing too. That one is the worst. I also dislike when they try to utilize a skateboard.
I have never seen that in an arcade.
They exist.
I've only ever seen the console versions.
Which are also bad.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was Tony Hawk Ride, and nobody ever played it.
How did you do the jumps?
I have no idea.
You say you never played them?
No, I've just heard really bad things.
Oh, okay.
And how bad they sold. My number 1, and this should piss off anybody, because if you've played much in an arcade, you've at least played one game where you're holding a pistol and shooting at a screen. Plastic pistol with the light sensor or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Those things are always fucking broken. They're broken all the time.
I've had some good experiences. I've had some very good experiences.
Yeah, you have.
What about Jurassic Park?
I love Jurassic Park.
Actually, the Jurassic Park I don't think fits in this instance. I'll tell you why. Because Jurassic Park is a mounted gun,
Yeah.
which means that they're probably
No, it's not. Which one are you talking about?
talking about all the Jurassic Park ones I can think of.
The one you sit in the Jeep is not that way. You pull a pistol out and you're aiming at the screen. It's not a mounted gun.
I don't remember this at all.
I played through it.
We played and beat it at Chuck E. Cheese.
I remember the.
That's Terminator,
hand
bro.
cannon. Well, it's also the new Jurassic Park.
Okay, so maybe it's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, that's my bottom list. I do not like those cheap guns that always fucking break. I like the ones that are made well and will last.
Play a Time Crisis game.
Those I often play broken ones with those.
Where are you going?
I'm telling you, it's happened more than
I
once.
feel like you're going to Shady Bob's Basement Cave.
That's my favorite arcade. Don't you talk shit about Bob's.
Shady Bob. No.
Come to my basement cave. You'll leave, maybe?
That's the meta game. Go ahead. You're talking.
You get prizes, 500 tickets for your freedom. Okay. Top. Good things to say.
Yes.
I wanted to end this one on a high note because you wrote a paper to explain to me.
Which is positive
why.
for Xbox.
But
All my negative energy just goes towards you.
Negative for America. Okay, so top.
Yes.
Number 3, Time Crisis 5. Time Crisis 5. It does have the plasticky gun, which once again,
those are the better made plastic guns. I'm just saying I have had some bad ones from Time Crisis games.
Not only does it do the cool thing where the slide goes back every time,
Yeah.
but also if you haven't played Time Crisis 5,
pedal?
there are 2 pedals in this game.
Okay.
There's the action pedal, which brings you up, and then there is the step pedal.
To dodge?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, the thing is it's not realistic. Okay, so
Well, yeah, you're dodging bullets. How realistic could it be?
It could be more realistic than this.
Okay.
Okay, because what happens is the gimmick is the baddies are always turning towards you, but if you use the pedal, then you literally swing. If the play area is a circle and you're always on the circumference, you swing 45 degrees around the entire scenario in about half a second. Just whoa, right over. So when you hit the action button, if you do that quick enough, the baddies will be turned the wrong direction, assuming that you're still at your original place of cover.
Okay.
2, I couldn't remember, but apparently we didn't need to know the titles of the games in order to critique them. I didn't know. I feel like it was one iteration of possibly the Alien game or maybe even the new Rambo game. But you get a plastic assault rifle light gun.
Yes.
And how you load it is you slam a clip in.
Nice.
It's got a clip it's on a spring and it's always kind of out.
I think I've seen that.
And you smack the clip on the butt and you got your new clip in.
I have a friend that would critique you and say, "Don't say clip. It's a magazine." But yeah, that's a cool. I love that reload feature. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It makes a lot more sense than firing up. Like it's
off the screen.
Like you have to become Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Yosemite Sam. Finally, apparently, I'm remembering this game wrong. So instead of saying Jurassic Park original,
Lost World.
Huh?
Is it Lost World?
Actually, I was gonna say Sega's Ocean Hunter.
Oh, I hate that game.
I love that game. The one where you fight sea monsters.
I hate it so much.
No, it's cool. Because not only do you have once again, it's not the light gun, and the point I was making earlier is that they're probably not using a laser effect to triangulate where your gun is in space. They're probably using inputs from the motion of the gun itself because it's mounted. That being said, that works really well consistently.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to say that game because it's a ton of fun.
Okay.
If you got two people, you can do a big shot by making sure that your crosshairs are over one another. I remember the first time that Captain Jay and I went to Joysticks. I think we beat that game.
Oh wow!
Because it was on free play.
I've never seen
Ocean Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody have enough patience for that game to get nearly that far.
It's a great game. Are we thinking of different games?
They were yellow, weren't they?
I don't know.
They were yellow, and every time it showed, like, it zoomed out and you showed your characters, they'd be swimming, right? And they'd be holding the things out in front of them.
I felt more like I was in a no. We're thinking of a different game.
Okay, maybe it's a different game.
Yeah.
If so, that makes sense because I hated that game. The game I'm talking about.
This thing had like a real ass like ship's wheel.
Oh, that's different.
Now part of it was like you had to manipulate the wheel.
We need to go to Joystick sometime and check that out.
No, that's a good game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Top for you.
Top three. For me. All right. Honorable mentions: Hydro Thunder. Also, the sit-down shooter Jurassic Park, which we were talking about earlier. I did beat that game with my brother.
Okay, did that have the rumble seat to like knock you around and stuff?
I think so, but I think there's different versions of it, like updated, newer ones.
There must be.
Because this was the one I remember when like the dinosaurs were going after. This is the one where the Brontosaurus could shit on you. You remember that?
No.
You're in a Jeep.
And I beat this game.
Yeah, it's the first one that you were as a sit-down shooter for Jurassic Park. It was the very first one.
Okay. With a rumble seat?
I think so. There may not have been a rumble seat.
Okay, then there must have been an even earlier version than the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. That
actually had the mounted gun and rumble seat.
Maybe. This one was a pistol, I know. Anyway, I also gave an honorable mention to Batmobile Arcade cabinet that we were talking about earlier because it was beautifully made, even though it was frustrating for me to play. Number 3, Operation Ghost. And this is one that's similar to what you were talking about, where you have kind of like an AR-15 or whatever.
I think it's an M4.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's a rifle, an assault rifle, and this is the one where I love the concept. I love that how well that was made. That gun, I've never seen one of those that was not functioning correctly. It was built well. I like a lot of the stuff they worked into the game as well, but mainly it's about the gun because we're talking about the actual hardware is what we're talking about. That's what the top 3 is about. But that game I thought was made pretty well too, and I like the concept of where you're not always just trying to shoot everybody. There are other things you have to worry about. All right, number 2. I have Fighting Mania by Konami.
Konami!
Yeah. And this one, I've only encountered it once, and I wish I had encountered it again because I want to do better than I did last time. It's challenging me. And this, you may have seen it. I remember the only time I've encountered it was at the Houston Galleria Mall. They had an arcade. They have an arcade there, and I encountered the first time I ever went to that arcade. It was the first cabinet you walk in, right there on your right, and it basically has 3 on each side of the screen. These paddles, and they weren't in the screen. They were in front of the screen, and so they had all this action stuff that was going on the screen behind them. But they were timed. So what you would have to do is these paddles would come out, and you had to hit them at a perfect, like when they're perfectly reached that 90 degrees, that arc or whatever. So and they would come out at all these different times, and they would all, you had to smack them. So it was like a martial arts game, and it was a ton of fun. And it's a challenge because it's not just hitting them; you had to hit them at the right time. So it challenges you, and if you're into martial arts, it would be like it's kind of a fun challenge to play that game.
You know what you might like? Oddly enough, the new Kung Fu Panda.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It doesn't have a time element to it, but it has an odd disconnect where you're looking at a screen, and then you have a physical interface around you, which are 6, 3 on each side, big rubber buttons that can take a hit, and the object that you need to hit will be on the screen, and it corresponds to the position of the button that you have to hit. So you need to actually look away from where you're hitting, but still be accurate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's fun. Number 1. There's another Konami arcade cabinet called
Hideo Kojima's Big Punchy Time Fight Sequence.
No, they call this one mocap boxing. And you may have seen it. I've seen it at Main Event. I've seen it at maybe one or two other places.
I hate this game.
The one that's you got the actual mitts that you're holding on to.
Yeah.
I love that game.
It never works.
It's always worked for me. And what I like about it is I did a long time ago. I trained a little bit in kickboxing, but I still do workouts with kickboxing, and I can actually use. I feel like I'm almost in a match because it's what I'm used to. I hold it up like a stance, like I usually do, and they have ducking. You have to duck, and you also have to do like just rapid punches. And it's really a game about endurance, and that's how you win that game. Is that because you can do it easily within the first few minutes you're playing this game, but it just wears you out. Every time I play it, I'm just dripping with sweat.
You said you played this at Main Event?
Yeah.
We've played the same cabinets.
Probably.
And
the one in Clear Lake.
Yes. Yeah, something was off. Like, it wasn't punching every time I punched.
You have to extend all the way. I think there's like a grid.
I tried every punch I know.
Yeah. You probably played it more recently than me. It may have gotten a lot of sweat on it, and it's just malfunctioning. But yeah, I enjoyed it. If it's working, it's a fun game if you like physical labor, I guess.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's a workout.
Pyramids, this is a game for you.
not physical labor, but just you know what I mean, just fitness, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
See, for that one, there's a game that I saw for the first time a couple of years ago called Faster Than Light, and it's a big board of what they look like as tap lights, and whenever they come up, you tap, and I think it's probably at least a 7x7.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to look at. And there's actually 2-player, and sometimes I'll turn on 2-player. The first time I ever played it, I actually drew a crowd.
You're just tapping lights?
Huh?
You're just tapping lights?
Well, it's like, I did martial arts too, and so I was using the duck and weave. I'm on my feet now, America.
Yeah.
I was using the duck and weave so that if it was down here, I never moved myself. It's just
Nice. Well, okay.
Okay.
No, okay.
So before we head out, I would like to thank Comicpalooza for having us out. I'd also like to thank Gray Griffin for doing a fabulous interview with us. I also want to thank the Lazy Bay Collective for throwing one of the best parties that I've been to this year.
Also, if you want to hear more from us, definitely check out the Patreon, which is going to be in links below. That's where you can actually, for as low as $2 a month, you can actually get exclusive content from us. We also have a lot of cool stuff associated with that. And what else? We got the YouTube. We're doing a lot of Let's Plays right now. We're doing a Halo Let's Play through all the Master Chief Collection.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
It's all right.
Zach, it's pretty good. You're not proud of that work that you're doing on those?
No.
No?
No. It's just an excuse for us to sit up and play video games like we're 15.
Well, I'm trying not to be biased here, but I think we're kind of entertaining with those. But anyway, check those out. There will be a lot of those to come in the next month or two.
Also, if you'd like to see more gameplay footage, I actually started putting up my highlights of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
You have to say it like that?
That's how I talk in the video.
So the bad guys don't hear you?
Yes. And now I think it's time to say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Hey, everybody. That was bad. I don't want to do that.
Bye, everybody.
This has been another great presentation by the 4-Eyed Radio Network. You can find more information at 4eyedradio.com.